Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I'm talking about watches. Today I'm going to talk about the Casio G-Shock Mudmaster. Firstly, I want to say a big thank you to my friend Chen who lent me this watch for this video. So firstly, I'm going to run through the review with you. I'm going to show you what the watch looks like. I'm going to show you the dimensions, the specifications, and all the amazing features that this thing has to offer. And then I'm going to talk about whether I think it's worth $1,000 Australian recommended retail price. Okay, so let's do the review. Let's turn the camera around and have a good look at this watch. This is the Casio G-Shock Mudmaster, model number GWG1000GB, tough solar. Today I'm going to run through the specifications, features, and try to give you a good understanding of what this watch is like. The case dimension at the smallest is 54mm, at the largest is 57mm. The case width at the smallest is 16mm, at the largest is 18mm. The lug-to-lug, including the integrated bracelet from here to here, is 67mm. The lug width of that integrated bracelet is 28mm, and the overall weight of the watch is 120 grams. The resin band that it comes on feels very tough and secure. It is quite thick. It has a tiny little bit of movement, but it certainly feels very strong. Stronger than the resin bands that come on my other G-Shocks in my collection. On the end we have a solid metal tang buckle and keeper, which is anodized in that gold colour. The watch also has a sapphire crystal with AR coating. It is shock and vibration resistant. It has 200 meters of water resistance, which is able to be achieved partly through the screw down crown. It is solar powered, and it has an ability to calibrate the signal of the time up to 6 times a day if you are in an area that has reception to those things. The face contains a 12, 3, 6 and 9 with indices at the hour and a minute track. The face has a waffle type pattern on the top and the bottom with a dividing section. So this watch is jam-packed full of features, and I'm going to try and run through those features to you now. By pressing the top right button here we have access to the compass, and it'll display that on the bottom there. Unfortunately the minute hand is in our way at the moment. We can move that by pressing these two buttons, but because I'm going to run through the other features, it then gets in the way of the other ones. To access the altimeter, as well as the barometric pressure and the temperature, we unscrew the crown. Once it has popped out, we can press the altimeter, and it tells us we're minus 34 meters above sea level. We then access the rest of the features by using the mode button, which will then start to move this arrow around. Back to time, barometric pressure is 1021, current temperature 32.2 degrees. Now this is definitely affected by my hand heat because it is definitely not that temperature within the house at the moment. We then have a recall feature, we have a stopwatch feature, a timer feature, 5 alarms, we have a world time feature, and the radio controlled feature. And back to time. Now I'm going to move these out of the way just to show you. By pressing these two buttons, it takes you to 10 past 2. Now, because it is solar power, you can try and check to see what your power level is by holding this button for 2 seconds. It has a H, which means high. It comes in high, medium, and low. The stated accuracy of this watch is plus or minus 15 seconds. And the only other real feature to show you, I'm going to have to turn the light off. So the watch does have some lume attached to it, as you can see on the hands, the 12, 3 and 6, as well as the hour indices. And whilst I have you here in the dark, I'm going to hit the light feature. There are 2 lights, one casting up from the bottom, one casting out through the side, which then lights up the whole face. The case is a screw down solid stainless steel case pack with some information. It identifies what button is which, compass, altimeter, display, mode, and light. It also identifies as the G-Shock. It identifies this as a Japan-made, sapphire glass, stainless steel, multi-band. You'll see in either corner here, there's these plastic inserts that are attached. Basically what they do is help make the case shape fit better to your wrist. And it does that very well. And here it is on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. It's actually slightly smaller on wrist than I would have expected. It's certainly a very large watch in general. However, when you feel it and look at it in your hand, you think, wow, what a monster. But when it's on, it actually sits okay. And with those plastic corners, as I mentioned earlier, it really conforms to the wrist. Alright, let's flip the camera back and I'll give you some of my final thoughts on what I think about this watch. So my final thoughts on this watch. Firstly, it's amazing. It does absolutely everything that you could ever want out of a watch. But is it worth the money? To me, probably not. What I need out of a G-Shock is just something that's reliable, that I can bang around. I really don't want to be spending $700 up to $1,000 for a G-Shock. However, is it value for money for other people? I think it actually might be worth that money. And the reason for that is, I think it's the last G-Shock you'd ever have to buy. How much money am I going to spend on G-Shocks over the years to come? Perhaps I should just be buying this one and be done with it. Well, thanks for watching. I hope this was interesting, and I hope to see you in another video.